So if coaching is such a great thing, what are the barriers? Why are there barriers? One of the things is the organization culture may not be conducive to it. What do we mean by that? If you have a culture that is about tell, right? And coaching is not really about telling. Sometimes it is. Sometimes I'm directive when I give a coaching. But most of the time it's about asking, right? When you have an autocratic style leadership in an organization, coaching, it's tough for them. Actually, I had a sales manager, one of the stores I was coaching, and he says, Hani, I found the trick with my salespeople. I said, really? David, what is that? He said, whenever they come and ask me a question, and I've got to do something for them, I ask them a question back so that they can do something for me. And this way, because I asked him, so what's the purpose of this? He said, this way, they leave me alone. Oh, okay, so if I understand you, what you're trying to do is stop talking to your salespeople. And he's very resistant to the coaching and the whole culture that we're trying to do. So that's a perfect example of a tell. The second one is, does management understand and sees its value? Normally, they see the costs associated with coaches and coaching. And by the way, when we're talking about Ford or Jensen, this is not, let's have a 3-month coaching thing. And Ford, it's my 4th year with Ford now, working with dealerships. Because remember, change is fast. Change is not fast. But what I find fascinating with these companies, they figured out that if we're going to make the change, ain't going to be just with the leadership, ain't just going to be with the training, or the processes, or the Gantt charts, or all that, or Sigma, or whatever. It's going to be in the trenches, one employee at a time, one leader at a time, and moving that needle forward. And we know it's not going to take a year. It's going to take 3 years. It's going to take 4 years. That's commitment to change. The other thing does management understand it? A lot of managers think that if they're going to work with a coach, that means they're a poor performer. You tell that to an Olympic athlete. It's not. So these are misconceptions. Are the resources there? So let me just go back. Are the resources there? Time, money, space, believe it or not. Sometimes we're scrambling to get a boardroom. We have to plan it ahead of time. And most engagement from the leadership team. So here's what I'd like you to do again. So this is not just a monologue. Get into your groups, and what are potential barriers that you find in integrating coaching in your organization? And if you're working as a consultant, what do you believe would be the obstacles that you will face in bringing in coaching in the organizations you're working with? Take a minute to think about that and talk about it. Okay, let's reconvene. What is one barrier that you found at your table? So one barrier, one obstacle. Yes? Sorry, working with? Working in an agency in crisis mode? How is that an obstacle?
All they can focus on is the crisis.
And how do they fix the crisis?
Oh, I don't even know.
Interesting, because that sounds, when I launched my practice, and I thought, where do I want to specialize? And it's really the people side of change, because as 27 years being in the business and being a senior executive and all that, we'd get into the boardroom, we'd spend a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, thinking, what the new vision is going to be, what this new thing is going to be, blah, blah, blah. And then we go out and bang, announce it. And the president makes a big show. And we send a few emails. And we think, hey, everybody's going to follow through. So often people don't we don't manage the people. We manage the crisis. We manage the process. We forget the people. Anything else? Yes?
Prioritize something else other than coaching.
Yeah. So coaching becomes a 3rd, 4th, 5th priority. What do you think the reason for that is?
We reward people.
What's what?
How we reward people.
How do we reward people? Yes. Okay. In what way is that?
So maybe you're really about, did you hit the numbers, did you get all these things done,
Yeah. So the interesting thing is coaching, like, I don't know, you guys, some of you goes to the gym. Yeah, we go to the gym. Some of you have personal coaches. Who has personal coaches at the gym? Raise your hand. Okay. What's your name? Shauna? Yeah, so when did you start with a personal coach? A year ago? Did you get results like the first week? No. So that's the thing with coaching, right? You don't get results the first week. So you're absolutely right. When you look at how we reward people and we want the ROI really quickly, well, guess what? It ain't going to be before a year because hugging was such a difficult thing, right? And we're talking about much more complex behavior. So absolutely right.